Well, that slot chick is here.
That's me.
Ani Javadian, welcome to the headquarters of SCCG.
Thank you, Steve. I'm so happy to be here.
Today is the day you officially became the first entrant into the SCCG Influencer Academy.
Guys, you heard it here first. I'm the first one to join the Influencer Academy here at SCCG. In Las Vegas, we're at the offices. Check out this cool room. We're going to do a little bit of Q&A. You guys will get to know us. You guys will get to know what the Academy is all about. And we can't wait to bring you guys some amazing content, position ourselves in amazing promotions, and see where we can take this thing.
Excellent. So, Ani, as you know, SCCG's been working in the background and in the foreground of the gambling industry for 35 years. We started very humbly in doing riverboat gaming in Kansas City. The first casinos really outside of Atlantic City and Las Vegas were in the center of the country. Riverboats and the early Indian casinos, which we helped to fund them and help develop them with the Native Americans. And eventually our roots took us to Las Vegas, where we were happy to be owners on the Fremont Street Experience with 6 casinos, some of which you visit today when you do your influencing for the slot players who love to play slots, who love the casino lifestyle. So we fast forward to where we are today, representing hundreds of suppliers in the global iGaming, sports betting, online casino, brick and mortar casino industry, all of the content, all of the technology that powers that. And we said to ourselves, we want to go out, tap into those that have made the casino lifestyle their strategy for influencing and connecting with fans. And we want to connect those influencers with our ecosystem and bring it to life.
Sounds awesome.
And when we met you, we knew you'd be an amazing person to start us off.
I appreciate that.
So it's great to have you. Tell us, Ani, a little bit about your background and what made you become a casino influencer.
Well, and I've said this before on a previous podcast also. I had a huge loss at the Bellagio about 8 months ago. And any sane person would say, maybe we should take a break, rein it back a little bit on the gambling. I doubled down and I said, you know what? I think if I'm going to do this, I want to do it on camera, and I want people to watch and get entertainment from the extreme highs, the lows, and everything in between. And I had seen some greats before me doing it, and I really connected with that. And I knew I had the passion for the play, and I could bring the energy. And so I just started an Instagram and a YouTube, and I started posting content, and people loved it.
I watch many of your videos. I was watching them for some time, and there was lots of others I would pass over, but I would come back to yours, and mostly because I just saw the joy. But I'm sure it's not always joy. So tell me, we see the person who's going after it, who's getting into the different levels in the games, but tell me some of the other times when it gets a little bit maybe lonely, or maybe you begin to doubt. Tell me, what are some of the other feelings behind that? Behind
the camera?
Yeah.
So the amazing thing about what I do is that I'm super passionate about it. If I'm in a casino, I can't be sad.
Okay.
They are just temporary moments of maybe a low point, or a couple camera shots, or a couple videos where maybe I haven't hit a bonus. Those are tough, not because I expect me to win every time gambling, but because I want to bring that high energy that you can find in a casino, which is why I love gambling, because you can get to an extreme high, and I love giving that emotion to the viewer on camera.
Right.
So the hard parts aren't really hard. I can't call what I do hard on any scale. There are just some low moments where I know I have to keep going, keep recording, and eventually when that bonus hits, when that jackpot comes, when the hand pay is getting paid out, I can bring the viewer that energy and see the passion. And it's not about convincing people that gambling is what they should be doing. It's purely for entertainment, where you as the viewer could be sitting at home and watching my video and escape your reality for a moment and see something that you might vicariously enjoy. I think that's why we all do it. All of us slot content creators don't do this to get you addicted to gambling. We enjoy it, and we just want to bring you into our world for a little bit.
Well, tell me something more about Ani. I mean, obviously, you're that slot chick. You're a great rising star influencer, but you're also a mom. You're also a mother, a wife to a husband. So tell me a little bit more about who's behind you, supporting you in this endeavor.
I am so lucky, so blessed that both my family, my husband, and everyone around me has been so supportive, because I couldn't do this without them. But I am a mom, I am a wife, and I'm Armenian. I think I'm the first female Armenian influencer in the gaming space. And my background is actually in table games. I started out playing Baccarat.
Okay.
My dad has been competing in Baccarat and blackjack tournaments since the early 90s. And so it was never taboo in my family. Casinos were always involved on vacations. Tournaments were something that I was just entered into as soon as I turned of legal age.
Did you know that two of the largest companies that supply the worldwide gambling industry come from your country in Armenia?
Do they?
That Construct, Digitane, they employ thousands and thousands and thousands of people. They have huge corporate headquarters doing everything from developing slot games to platforms for online gaming to live casino studios.
This is all from Armenia?
This is all from Armenia.
What?
So there you go.
I had no idea.
This is why we have an academy, because we're going to connect you. You're a proud Armenian, and we know how much the Armenians contribute. They disproportionately contribute to our society here in America. They do so everywhere they are in the world. But in our industry, they disproportionately contribute to the technology, to the know-how, to the content creation, to the creativity.
That's amazing to hear. I had no idea.
And this is the type of thing we're going to be doing. Obviously, when you're playing Dragon Link, which I sometimes see you play in other games, the story behind those games. Well, how do they create these games? How do they come up with these mechanics? Why do these mechanics work?
Guys, comment below if you want to know more about how the mechanics of gaming works. If you're one of those brains that love to know what goes on behind the scenes, how the RTPs are set, who manufactures the chips behind it, how we decide where this game is going to be planted, how it's going to pay you, comment below, let me know, and we'll do another piece on focusing just on that cool stuff.
I assume a lot of creating content is the reactions, the engagement that you get. Yeah. Tell me about what people are engaging with you on, what tends to get their reaction. How do you interact with your audience?
So I think, and you guys will have to tell me if I'm wrong, but I think what you guys like to watch the most is that energy, that high, the excitement that you get when you finally hit a bonus after playing, $500, $600, and then you get a bonus and it ends up being a $3,000 hand pay. I think that's what it is. It's the fact that, hey, it does exist. It does pay out. You can, come up and after a loss, go back into the green and be positive. And so I think specifically for my content, it's what happens to me when I hit that bonus. How happy I get, how excited I get when I tell you guys how much I've won. And my husband is my camera guy, and he does an amazing job of catching me in that moment where I'm able to translate it to the viewer to see. So much like it could be two MMA athletes competing. It could be anything where people are witnessing someone compete and the joy of it. In this case, it's a one-to-one relationship that you're having with a game session. And it's how you're strategizing, how you're going at it, how you're sharing that feeling, whether it's the high of that jackpot or whether it's the low of having to come back at it. Yep. They're getting to see that emotion. Yes, it's all organic. Guys, if you guys catch me playing in a casino and I'm not recording, you're going to see me performing the same way. I'm going to get happy when it's exciting. I'm going to get sad when I'm losing. But that's what I love, is providing organic content. And I'm passionate about all aspects of gaming. So whether it's an online casino, whether it's the guts of the machine and finding out where it comes from, I want to be able to create content around as much of the facets as I can get my hands on and learn from, and then bring that to the viewer, because I think in this generation, more people are interested with deeper connection. So obviously, if you scroll down
you'll see lots of content creators, young and old, of different shapes and sizes, different ethnicities, who are trying to go at this casino lifestyle. Obviously, we're hoping too that in our partnership, in our approach with SCCG Influencer Academy, that we can bring something that goes a little bit deeper and beyond, something different.
Absolutely.
To make that content stay out. But when you think about that, you use the word authentic, keeping it authentic. What does that mean, and why is that important between you and the audience that follows you?
Sure. Well, it's important to me to keep it authentic and organic because I think that there's a lot of fluff online now. And I think that when people are spending time watching, if they're choosing to watch me, it's my responsibility to provide the truth. And so I really try to focus on talking to the camera as if I was talking to one single follower, one single subscriber on YouTube, and engaging with the camera as I would if they were supporting me right there on the floor. I love to go live sometimes because I'm able to see them coming in on the chat and saying, play this denomination, play that denomination, or choose a different machine. And so it's important for me to connect with the people that are viewing my content.
That's great. And I often wonder because obviously you're producing content. How often, let's say in a week?
Well, I'm producing content at least once a week for about 6 to 8 hours.
Okay.
And then using it to post all week long. And that's because I'm based out of Los Angeles now. If I was here, I would probably do shorter sessions more frequently, having a casino 5 minutes down the street.
Right.
Or being 5 minutes away from the strip.
But as you remember, all those sessions over all that period of time, what are the 2 or 3 things on the positive, the 2 or 3 things, best moments, and what were the 2 or 3, let's say, moments that disappointed you the most, if you go back in your memory? So
I'll start with the highest high. This was when I was playing the Ruby Dragon Baccarat tournament at the Venetian. 2014, 15, 16, because it was about a year-long tournament. And so what it was you had to win the US to go to Singapore. And we had weeks of qualifying rounds. Well, I advanced and I made it to the final table for USA and I took first, and that was $250,000 first place prize. So that was my biggest high. Granted, they were promotional chips. So if you guys don't know, I'll do another piece about what promotional chips are versus cash. And so that was my biggest win and probably my proudest moment on the casino floor. Unfortunately, I wasn't creating content there, so I don't have any pictures or video to refer back to, but I felt like I made my dad proud in that moment.
Let's talk about that, because being in the casino business for 35 years, identifying kind of with your dad, who was in the industry back when we were going at it full speed, is there a family secret to your methodology when you approach that Baccarat tournament?
My dad, bless his heart, he's an engineer, a very calculated man. And so the math behind it that he would instill in me was the discipline. You have to count everyone's chips. You have to play your position correctly.
Okay.
So if the button is on you, you have to bet first. You're going to bet very differently versus if you are right before the button and everybody gets to bet, then you have to calculate with every bet if they win or lose, where's your standing. So not so much a secret, but calculations.
So a game of skill from your perspective.
Yeah, from his perspective, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's and what was one of the lower points?
The lower points was I had hit a huge jackpot the weekend before, so I had amazing content. And I thought every session was going to be a winning session. All my videos were going to go viral. And then I hit like this dry period where I think I took 4 trips to the casino, risked a lot of money, and I couldn't get a good video for the life of me.
So you chased it.
I chased it for the love of the content creation end of it, but also as a gambler, I thought there's no way this 5,000, the 10,000, there's no way it can't result in a hand pay. There's no way I can't get that maxed out major on Dragon Link.
Right.
And so I had put all this money invested into creating the content, time, and I had no good content. So if you look back some weeks on my Instagram, there's definitely content after content where it's like bad bonus, losing bets.
So how long have you now been at the content creation game?
I started my page on October 16th. So November, December, January, February, March, April. So 6 months. 6 months and 5 days.
And this is exactly kind of what we're looking to synergize with at SCCG. We want to find talent that is rising, getting more visibility, creating amazing content, showing that joy and authenticity. So where do you want to be, let's say, a year from now? Paint that picture.
Oh, well, I have to tell you, being here and being aligned with SCCG was one of my very, very first, like if I had put a vision board in the beginning together, being here and being with you was at the top of that. And so the fact that I'm here in 6 months' time gives me that boost that I need, that, hey, I'm doing something right, I can move forward. I reached out to you early on, and you were gracious enough to give me a meeting, and we stayed in touch. And I see on your board, guys, you can't see it here now, but you've got a board of gaming shows lined up here, and it's nationally, internationally. Looking at that gives me joy that I could possibly be a part of going to Barcelona, Dubai, Brazil, and being positioned with a company like yours and doing the same thing that I do. So just bigger platforms, more viewers, getting into the guts of the gaming industry and online casinos, which are huge right now, and being able to set the companies that you work with apart from all the crap that's out there right now. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
You can say it.
I get approached by online casinos like 10 times a day. Come sign up with us. You want to make some money? Do that. And it's so easy to just see what is bullshit.
Yeah.
What is cheap gaming? What is scoping out and poaching content creators like myself? And I did make the mistake early on of signing on with a company or two because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But then I was lucky enough to get some guidance from people like yourself who have been in the industry and said, hey, wait, this is the difference between legitimate online gaming relationships that are global and worldwide, and they have merit versus some of the other countries' companies that are coming out, and all they're doing is false advertising, voided plays, voided wins, crypto casinos. You know, those are sucking the souls out of the people who like to gamble because they're taking advantage of them.
Obviously, one of the benefits from our perspective of being in the regulated gambling industry for so long is the whole focus of regulation is to protect the player, is to have integrity in the games.
Yes.
And as long as it's a fair game and it's entertaining,
absolutely,
then we can go for it.
Yep.
Then we can promote it. And so there's only really one way to do this. There are no shortcuts. There are best practices. And this is what we hope to do in our partnership with the SCCG Academy and with leading influencers who are coming up the ranks. Now, what would you say to somebody, I'm sure you've had people reach out to you who haven't yet gotten started and they're seeing you kind of begin to really put together an amazing content library. What's your advice to someone just coming into the game now?
My very first advice would be know that content creation in the gambling space is not just gambling. You have to learn how to edit. You have to learn how to post. You have to learn how to read algorithms. You have to learn how to set up a proper YouTube channel. You have to know how to abide by regulations and guidelines so that you are not discredited by social media platforms. And that's the most important thing. You're going to be wearing a lot of hats. So you're not just a content creator. You have to do all the back end. If not, your content doesn't have a chair to sit on. So it's going to fall on empty hands.
Do you ever think as a content creator that the world exists a certain way? You were introduced first through your dad to what casinos were about, casino games. You're a young person, you're raising a family. Do you ever think about the type of entertainment that what you've enjoyed with your father, what you're now enjoying, is going to be like for your daughter? Do you think about what the future holds for this type of entertainment?
You know, she's really little. She's only 5. So no, I can't say I think about it in relation to her. But I do think about what I am portraying to my viewer, who might be a 19-year-old waiting to turn 21 and go gamble, or another person who is maybe coming and having access, moving to Las Vegas, say from the Midwest where they have one casino 2.5 hours away, and if they want to explore that. So I think about how they are going to come and be exposed to it. And that goes back to the authenticity. Keep it real, so at least they can't look and say, Ani or that slot chick told me something other than what is reality. And of course, I can only speak from my experience, but I think that I'm well-rounded enough being in this for as long as I have that I can provide some good information to the viewer and know that anyone who's viewing me, whether they're little, new to the area, new to gaming, they can use me as a vessel or as a medium to be exposed to the right.
Do you think
true.
One of the things we do here is work with content creators all over the world? They're using AI in really interesting ways to come up with new content, to come up with content that can be, let's say, can be evolving more rapidly, so that the changeover in a casino setting, you could see more, let's say, differentiation, more variety. Sometimes we're working with companies like one in particular out of Switzerland. They were looking to solve the issue of having an online gaming population where 70% of people who participated in the legal online gaming never stepped foot in a casino.
Wow.
But they became enamored with certain games that were popular online that were not offered in the casino. So they came up with a way to retrofit a slot machine so that real time you could take the content that was popular online and put it on the slot machine in the casino.
And play it on the floor?
And play it on the floor.
That's amazing.
That company, Real Link, is based in Switzerland, and it's part of Swiss Casino Group, which is a major casino operator in that part of the world. And we're now in the process of bringing that technology. So think about a future where you can take something, a social game or a real money game that is legally offered online. You've never really stepped in a casino, but your favorite game online is now available in the casino. Could that be something that brings you into the casino to play that game in a live setting?
So me personally, absolutely. Because I've played online casinos before, but there are some games that I really enjoy playing that maybe they never existed, but some of them existed and then they took it off the casino floor.
Right.
One of them, like the Sugar Crush, where it's candy gems, you have to connect 3 or 4 of them. They, break down and then you get bonuses if you hit a couple in a row. So they took that off the casino floor. If I saw that on the casino floor now, I would play it because it's nostalgic to me.
Right.
And you can't find those machines anymore. But also I think that for the player who plays online, doesn't play in casinos, maybe because they're always with their little one in the casino, or they have a short time to go grab a dinner, say they're visiting Las Vegas, they go and see a show, they're walking through the casino, they might not know what Dragon Link is, they might not be table players, but they might come across and see their favorite online game on a machine on the casino floor. Now the casino has gained another customer.
So that's a lot of what we do here. What we do is look for technology that bridges the gap between what you might experience in a casino, which is where you're filming a lot of your live content, and what you might experience online, which might be different.
Right.
You brought up a great example, just the ability to bring back games that cycle out of a slot because they've brought in the most recent games, but you miss. For me, it was Texas Tea, which I don't know if you've ever played.
I do.
And
I know
now you might have to go. You might have to walk for quite a while before you find a Texas Tea, and someone's going to be on that machine.
Yes, because there's probably going to be one.
Right.
There's going to be one next to, maybe in a bank of 4, and it's going to have Stinkin' Riches, Texas Tea.
There you go.
Yeah, a couple
those
of those
were games
old
that were popular, 15, 20 years ago.
Yep.
So I think it's always been fascinating me to look at content creators who are so passionate and who connect, but may not understand how, even the whole issue of how games evolved, how they're evolving in the future, how they are linked between what we do in a brick and mortar casino versus digital. Everything we do now is content on demand. It used to be I had cable. Before that I had TV. Now all I do is go on YouTube TV, And I can basically curate and watch the things I want to watch 24/7.
No ads.
No ads, and that's it.
Yep.
So to me, it's all about content. And so to me, the ability to connect what SCCG does in the world and connect them with influencers who are passionate and authentic ends up completing that loop and ends up we can find interesting and effective ways to bring new technology to life.
Absolutely.
And I think, it doesn't change what you do in terms of the joy of chasing your jackpots, in terms of sharing the excitement, but it might add some.
Absolutely. It's just a level up for me. So what I told you from the beginning was, and what I want to portray to the viewer now in this new venture with SCCG is that what you just said, all the knowledge of everything, old and new, it's not something that could be taught. Mm-hmm. You either experienced it. You couldn't learn all of what you know in a day stepping into this today, right? You lived through it. I lived through growing up with my dad competing in the tournaments. I saw the host and player relationships. I saw when casinos were giving away $2,500 shopping sprees, and we had banquet halls filled with vendors from Dooney and Burke, Coach, the best electrical supplies. We would go in and pick out which prizes we wanted, and then dad would play a tournament, and so it went from that, and then we went into the 08-09 recession and how they started pulling those back, and then we had MGM rewards, and then they started saying, no, at the end of the year you have to use all your points. So that all comes from experience. If you're not in it, it's not something that you can teach. Best we can do is take what we know from the old, what's working with the new AI technology and online gaming, is try to curate for myself as a content creator, position myself where I can tie all three and probably more factors together and tell my viewers about it.
Look, we've dedicated our lives. We're at one time, you can't be in the casino business or in the online gaming business and not enjoy and identify with that.
Relate to, absolutely.
With that lifestyle. Obviously, we share that joy, but we are mirrored in ciphering through different ways that we can innovate and evolve the industry. And I've always felt that what we're missing here is the connection to the customer. And so influencers to me are a representative of the customer.
Sure.
We can't touch every customer in every setting of innovation, but the influencers, in addition to bringing the casino lifestyle alive and sharing that joy and enthusiasm, the ups and downs, I think they play a role. They can play a role in innovation.
Absolutely.
And that's what this program's about. We're so happy to have you.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, and I don't know everywhere we're going to go, but I can tell you it's going to be a lot like our journey as a company. We're going to end up going everywhere, doing everything, and creating lots of excitement and
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Okay,
I can't wait.
so let's do it.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, hit all the buttons. Come back. We're going to bring more content to you. You heard it here first. Influencer Academy at SCCG Management based in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm here with the CEO, Stephen Crystal, Ani Javadian, that slot chick. Until later, we're out.